Good afternoon and welcome to Boston Asian Radio and TV English Daily News Today. I am your host, Amanda. Here's a look at the top stories making headlines today. Debt ceiling bill clears key hurdle, teeing up final House vote before it goes to Senate. Bill pushes for inclusive and consistent sex education in mass schools. Man charged in series of violent sexual assaults in Charlestown. 1 in 3 mass households fighting hunger, new report finds. Systemwide Registry of Motor Vehicles issue resolved. Debt ceiling bill clears key hurdle, teeing up final House vote before it goes to Senate. The compromise bill to raise the debt ceiling passed its first major test Tuesday night in the House Rules Committee, where it advanced to the House floor in a 7-6 vote, with 2 of the panel's 9 Republicans opposing it. A floor vote on the Fiscal Responsibility Act is planned for around 8:30 p.m. ET on Wednesday, according to a tentative House voting schedule. The legislation is the product of a deal hammered out by House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and President Joe Biden to cap federal baseline spending for 2 years in exchange for Republican votes to raise the debt ceiling beyond next year's elections and into 2025. The bill still needs to pass the full GOP majority House and the Democratic-controlled Senate before Monday, when the Treasury Department projects the United States would be unlikely to have enough money to meet its debt obligations. Bill pushes for inclusive and consistent sex education in mass schools. Sex education advocates are renewing efforts to pass legislation that would set standards for a sexual health curriculum across Massachusetts. Supporters of the Healthy Youth Act gathered at the State House Tuesday to lobby for the bill that would require public schools that offer sexual health education to use research-informed curriculum that is medically accurate, age-appropriate, and LGBTQ+ inclusive. The legislation was first introduced in 2011 and has passed multiple times in the state Senate, but has not made it to the House floor for a vote. Healthy Act Coalition Chair Jacqueline Friedman says as Republican-led states move to restrict sex education in schools, supporters are eager to see the bill become law. Man charged in series of violent sexual assaults in Charlestown. A man has been charged in a series of sexual assaults and kidnappings in Boston's Charlestown neighborhood that date back to 2007, according to police and the FBI. Matthew Nilo, 35, who once lived in the North End, was arrested at his home in Weehawken, New Jersey, Tuesday, more than 15 years after he allegedly terrorized 4 victims in the Terminal Street area. Nilo, who investigators said is an attorney, is facing charges including 3 counts of aggravated rape, 2 counts of kidnapping, 1 count of assault with intent to rape, and 1 count of indecent assault and battery. 1 in 3 mass households fighting hunger, new report finds. 1 in 3 Massachusetts households experienced food insecurity or the lack of consistent access to adequate food last year. That finding is just one facet of a worrying picture painted by a new report from the Greater Boston Food Bank. The report, based on a statewide survey, was released Tuesday. It found that approximately 1.8 million adults experienced household food insecurity in 2022, and 1 in 3 people reported running out of food or not having enough money to get more food every month. While the extra SNAP benefits helped, 74% of respondents said they still needed to seek additional food assistance, and 46% said that the SNAP benefits were not enough to get by. Making things even more difficult for residents are the mounting pressures of inflation. The survey found that most of the people who started using food pantries in 2022 did so because of increased cost of groceries. Systemwide Registry of Motor Vehicles issue resolved. A system-wide issue at AAA and the Massachusetts Registry of Motor Vehicles that shut down permit, license, and identification-related transactions was resolved Tuesday morning, according to the agency. The issue, which affected AAA and RMV locations across the state, was first announced by the agency's Twitter account around 10:30 a.m. Tuesday. The vendor system issue lasted about 90 minutes, according to a spokesperson for the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, which oversees the RMV. The issue was resolved shortly after 11:30 a.m., the agency said in a subsequent tweet. Stay tuned for more updates on Boston news as it develops.